Hi, this is Ben Winkelman. I'm your Hoquiam mayor. It is April 2nd, about 12:30 a.m. Just finished a pretty long day for April Fool's Day. And it's been a while since I've given you an update, so I just thought I would come out pretty quick tonight and just give you a video update on how things are going with the city. As you know, we were one of the first cities in Grace Harbor County to declare an emergency in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And since that time, we've been dealing with the governor's orders, presidential orders, and adjusting to things as this pandemic progresses. Initially, my intent was to address the emergency issues related to making sure that people's water continues to work, the sewer's working, and that you have law enforcement and other first responders, fire and EMS, all there keeping you safe day in and day out as they usually do. As things moved along, we learned that additional restrictions were necessary as related to parks that had playgrounds, for example. We had a large number of people gathering at the playgrounds, and additional instructions were provided by the governor and interpreted by the Attorney General's office, and so we made additional changes at the city. We changed our court schedule, we changed our building hours, and many non-essential positions were sent home and are on call. That being said, us, the society, and the citizens of Hoquiam, admittedly, we've struggled a little bit with all of this change at one time. I think we've done a really nice job as citizens to attempt to participate in social distancing and follow the directions that are provided to us, and as information is obtained about how this pandemic is working, we really have done a great job here in Hoquiam. The school districts trying to keep students and families engaged. Law enforcement still out enforcing the laws in our community, and our first responders are all at the ready as usual. In anticipation of the pandemic perhaps getting worse or spreading in our community directly, we're attempting to put in place additional plans to address the emergent needs of our citizens. And it has been frustrating for some of us who have been sent home from work to stay in our homes and see other people that are perhaps not complying, or in your view not complying with the instructions that have been provided. And so I want to say that in response to widely circulated rumors, state officials, the governor's office, and myself, I want to be clear that nobody needs to be registered. The business doesn't need to be registered or on a list. You don't need a letter or a pass to freely move about, conduct your essential business and activities. This can include going to the grocery store, picking up pharmaceuticals, doctor's appointments, even healthy activity, so long as you're distancing yourself and isolating yourself from others that don't live in the same living space as you. It has been a little bit problematic with the city being overwhelmed with phone calls and complaints about businesses that some people might deem non-essential. And for that reason, the governor set up a website and a hotline basically to report your complaints about non-essential businesses. So submit those complaints to www.coronavirus.wa.gov. When you've done that, it's much better than confronting business owners directly. For one thing, arguably you shouldn't be there yourself, and so let's just not have that problem. And it has come up a few times in the city of Hoquiam. Thankfully, most law-abiding citizens are following all the rules. There has been some concern about my emergency declarations. They were intended to be temporary, to address an emergent need without an opportunity to meet with the city council. I wish to remain addressing just emergency issues. We are planning to have a city council meeting on, I believe it's April 13th, that Monday. That will be done via Zoom, and there will be an opportunity for the public to attend via Zoom, and we're working with the Attorney General's office to figure out exactly what can be handled. But it's my understanding at this point, and with consulting with our legal counsel, that we will only be conducting official business at that meeting, and we'll wait for further instructions from the Attorney General's office or guidance from the Attorney General's office and the governor on how to proceed. And so therefore, some of the issues that have been brought to my attention recently, or you may have seen in social media, addressing a 72-hour parking rule. There are citations being issued for 72-hour parking violations. It's been on the books forever. It is, our law enforcement takes an oath to enforce all the state and local laws, and quite honestly, we're fielding a lot of complaints at City Hall and non-emergency reports to 911 call center about neighbors who are parking their vehicles in the wrong spot, and that's what brings a code enforcement officer to your neighborhood to start addressing parking issues that maybe you didn't experience before when you were able to leave your home and go to work. But there's nothing preventing you by the governor's orders or mine from going out to your vehicle, moving the vehicle, or even taking a quick car trip. The idea is to distance yourself from other people socially, not to gather in particular places like we had an issue at the beach a couple of weekends ago. Most of those people were not from this area, and it would not be problematic if you were to spend some time in open space. It's just not to meet up with people that don't live in your immediate home. So please enjoy the time that you have at home. For many of us, myself included, I have 3 daughters, and we're all very busy lives, and it's been a while since we've spent this much time together in our home, and I'm looking at that as an opportunity to kind of reconnect a little bit with the kids, and they're concerned. They're missing their friends as well, and so it was nice for us to go out and at least try to do a garden. I don't have much of a green thumb. I don't know if anything's going to grow out of that dirt, but we worked together as a family in the yard to kind of put together a garden, and hopefully, like when they were little kids, we'll have a little bit of fun when we're pulling out carrots and radishes, and that are all funny different shapes and that sort of thing. I'm looking forward to it, and I think the kids are as well. But pick up your old phone book and call those people that don't have technology, that maybe they don't have Facebook and Zoom and Instagram and maybe even cell phones. So just call them up and talk to them, your old neighbors or old friends, and those people that are probably feeling pretty lonely and a little bit afraid right now. So it's important that we all treat each other with respect and compassion, and I'm urging you as citizens of Hoquiam to continue to do a good job on social distancing and being patient with the parking situations and other things that are maybe not as much of an emergency right now, but the council will certainly get to it. There's been some complaints and issues about the sidewalks being replaced. As you know, the primary contractors, pursuant with the governor's orders, have ceased doing that work as non-essential at this time, but there were concerns about the sidewalks being in pretty good shape that were being replaced, and that's all related to a street resurfacing project. And when those jobs are completed, the ramps and corners all need to be ADA compliant, and so they're replacing the sidewalks in between. We still have a priority list and request from different citizens in Hoquiam about replacing sidewalks, and when we get back to ordinary business, we'll get right back to that as well. Please rely on your law enforcement. They are out there enforcing the law and keeping us safe. And I know some of that seems like Seems like maybe it's not fair right now, and people don't have extra money for citations and things, but understand that law enforcement's responding to complaints and they're enforcing the law, which is their job, unless the council decides that there's going to be some sort of moratorium that's less of an emergency. And we will discuss that at our next council meeting. Arrangements have been made for all of your council people to have iPads so that they can communicate. Their phones still work, their email still works, so reach out to your council members rather than attempting to overwhelm law enforcement that needs to address actual emergencies at this time. So please be kind to your neighbors, enjoy the time that you have with your family and friends, and take care of each other. We really are doing a good job.